Hello, Robert Harding. I studied news discourse of petroleum industry activities on or affecting Indigenous territories with my two research assistants over an 8-month period in 2020-21. And we use critical discourse analysis techniques to examine 169 editorials and opinion pieces in 11 corporate news publications, such as the National Post and our own Vancouver Province. We also analyzed 48 news stories over the same time frame in 13 Indigenous newspapers, such as First Nations Drum and Windspeaker. We paid careful attention to use of language, particularly how opponents and proponents of petroleum industry activities were described. Descriptions of Indigenous opponents of these activities relied on sarcasm and derogatory language, characterized them as a threat to law and order and undemocratic. And some examples from the text: irresponsible native chiefs, self-anointed Indigenous aristocrats, idle no more on steroids. On the other hand, descriptions of settler proponents of petroleum industry activities relied on exaggeration and praise, portrayed supporters as the majority of normal Canadians, associating them with modernity, democracy, and the rule of law. Examples from the text include normal human beings, socially responsible corporations, modern civilization. Select findings: corporate newspapers were far less likely than Indigenous media to include sufficient context and history that would enable readers to understand Indigenous issues and interests. And they frequently portrayed reconciliation as a threat to corporate interests and emphasized a robust law and order approach to Indigenous protest. Corporate news commentary was built around a common sense binary, that is, a minority of radical Indigenous activists versus the best interests of the majority of Canadians, including most Indigenous people. Thank you.